So nearby Brad, let's talk about some Fallout.
Fucking hate you.
That's nice.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting to bleep myself, aren't I?
So Fallout 3 is probably one of the most, critically praised games that Bethesda Softworks have made. And it's got, some definite quirks within the engine that it was built upon. Safe to say, they couldn't really figure out vehicles. So Brad, what's your familiarity with the Fallout franchise?
So I know people are going to hate me for saying this, but the only one I've played is Fallout 4.
Not the strongest entry, but I guess at least it wasn't Fallout 76.
Well, yeah, I mean, who would buy Fallout 76?
Did you buy it?
No.
I was gonna say, did you buy it and not even play it? Just oh dear.
It was just Fallout 4 with nothing in it.
It did have one good feature though, of it gave people a signifier that they bought the special edition, at which point everyone hunted them down because they got a special uniform or something, and that became something of oh yeah, I'm going to show off my special edition outfit, and then everybody in the community decided to just use that to hunt people down.
Did you see that in it was a World of War? I think it was Final Fantasy 14 or World of Warcraft, where it was people had paid for mounts and had to disable the spitty mount because people would do it in their warpath.
Spitting at the royalty as they walk down on their paid expensive mounts. That's great.
You want to talk about Fallout 3?
So today we are going to be talking about Fallout 3, one of the as I say, better received Fallout games, and my personal maybe favourite, because I do need to revisit Fallout New Vegas. Did you enjoy your experience with Fallout 4?
Yeah, I did. I played it in 2 parts, because what I tend to do in those games is do all the side missions and then get bored, and then I came back and finished the story. Yeah. And I think at the end, when I finished it, I talked to some people who played it. Apparently I picked the evil route.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, with Fallout 3's ending specifically, it's a matter of great frustration for many people, the fact that you didn't really get a choice in your ending, because no matter what you did, no matter who you had in your party, you had to die at the end of the game.
Spoilers?
Yes, spoilers indeed. So the premise is the room is filled with deadly radiation. You need to go in and stop an explosion or something. And even if you have a follower that is a super mutant immune to radiation, when you ask if they could go in the room, they're like, no, this is your mission. It's you won't die.
Folks can fuck off for that. I cannot take this journey for you. I will die, you motherfucker. I saved your life. You owe me all.
But something that did retcon that is the DLC for the game, Broken Steel. And Broken Steel, I believe, was the one where basically it gave you the ability to continue playing the game after you've done that mission. Because guess what? They're massive open world games. Just because you finish one mission, one story mission, doesn't mean you want to not be able to do all those side missions that you were talking about.
Wait, so in Fallout 3, when you reach the end of the game, do you just die and can't carry on?
Yeah, originally, yeah.
But the whole point of those games is that when you finish, you've got all of this other stuff to do.
Exactly, yeah.
So there's unique equipment in the room you can pick up that you can never use. There's never been a more obvious fuck you by the DLC in a video game ever.
So, imagine the Spider-Man game, one of the games that is, well known for having so much to do outside. Or Breath of the Wild, where you have all these collectibles and stuff. Imagine if the game just ended as soon as you did the story.
Yeah, and Breath of the Wild, for example, it just says, oh, we're going to set you back just before you kill Ganon, so you can go, finish the game however you want.
If they did that in Fallout 3, we'll set you back just before you die. I'm never going in that room again.
Set you back just before you save the world. But yes, we're not talking about that mission, though. We are talking about, just one element of the Broken Steel DLC. And that's the fact that it's got a moving vehicle within it.
That doesn't sound particularly amazing.
It doesn't really, but game development is really tough, and the engine Gamebryo that hope I pronounced that correctly, but the Gamebryo engine that was used to build Fallout 3 was not particularly built for that kind of thing. It wasn't exactly a Rocket League engine or anything. Most of the time in Fallout games, it's post-apocalyptic, all you see is wrecks of cars and motorbikes and everything like that. There's no need for the vehicles to be moving.
So I'm sensing that there was a problem with the vehicles in that update.
So there wasn't a problem. There was a very creative solution to make a vehicle move.
So what did they do?
They just attached the metro carriage that you travel in to a character.
Wait, so in the game, obviously they've already animated characters to move.
Yes.
So they just attach the car to the character.
So yeah, there was like a metro like station car that you get in. And it's basically like an underground little train that you can travel between certain areas. It's basically just driven by a character running very fast.
Can you no-clip out of the map and see the character?
What people have done is they've gone into the game and like gotten, and I'm sure there'll be a picture of it, like the car above the person, and you can like see that they're attached to one another. And what's interesting as well is that this initially got reported as, well, NPC wears the metro as a hat and runs around underground. And they're underground, so you can't see them, but the metro is like, you know, visible.
Yeah.
But that's not actually how it works.
How does it work?
Thank you for asking, Brad.
I'm genuinely curious. Like, this sounds very interesting.
So what happens is when you enter the car, you go in and activate the button. At which point, this carriage replaces your right hand, your character's right hand, and then immediately activates like a camera movement within the game. So the camera looks as though it's still in the same location, but what it's actually doing is taking away your right hand, replacing that with the car above your head, and then moving the camera to exactly where it would be for your character inside the car.
What are you talking about?
And then you run really fast.
Wait, so it attaches it to your character?
It attaches it to above your character and then moves the camera up to make it look like you haven't moved.
Why is this easier than just animating it to move?
Because they had systems in place to move cameras and to attach things to people and replace parts. You know, they had those systems in place, and apparently with whatever goddamn fuckery is going on in that engine, it was easier to just pretend like you're in a car, put it above you, and then make your character run insanely fast to make it seem like you're in a train carriage.
I'm not denying that it's an ingenious solution to a problem. I can't fathom how that was easier than just going around the problem in a different way, but I suppose it's just what's already... I'm not a game dev, I don't know.
No, exactly. As I say, like, game development is just very difficult, and it's just one of those weird quirks where clearly a developer found a workaround that was either easier or maybe less intensive on the game engine than just putting a train in. So, Brad, have you got any strange, like, little quirks of game design that you've heard of over the years?
I think one I always found quite, I think cute is the word I would use, is, so we did a video about Crash Bandicoot 1.
Right, okay.
We talked about how it was sort of procedurally generated frame by frame as you go through to save on memory.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's a fun little thing they do in the fight with Embryo, and that's whenever he's pouring his potions back and forward between his two bottles, they just have this little worm asset that's below the map that just teleports up to act as the liquid. I thought that was a fun little workaround to create the illusion of him pouring his liquids.
There's so many times where you'll look at out of bounds stuff and you'll see that, oh, character is T-posing below the ground, waiting for action to happen in a cutscene, and then they'll just get raised above because it's easier to like preload all of them in. Or like when people get undercover in games, they'll like swap out the character model and then like out of the ground will rise like character in bed model, rather than having to like simulate them getting under sheets or anything. It's just, you'll, you know, have a weird camera pan where they go off frame, then all of a sudden they get just swapped out and a different character model just ascends.
Yeah, it's like Dragon Ball FighterZ, all super moves. Like, for Gohan's, like you have like the close-up of his hand as he does the like Kamehameha. But what they do is they just give his model a giant hand, so if you zoom out, it's a giant hand Gohan, just like, ah!
Yeah, FighterZ is a great example there because the game is made to look like 2D animation, but it's all done in 3D models to, you know, save time essentially. But it looks fantastic and looks as if it's 2D, but the amount of times where they have to warp camera and character perspectives and everything to make it look like it's still two-dimensional is incredible.
I think there's series on YouTube, like such as Boundary Break, that are good to watch if you're interested in... I think there was a Simpsons Hit and Run one, which was very interesting because all of the interior locations are on the map. They're just hidden somewhere away, and the camera will teleport when you go into them. And then there's also random T-posing characters hidden in places ready to be used for certain cutscenes.
Because, like, a lot of the time, especially, I believe, like, you know, when loading times were a lot longer, it was easier to preload everything you might need in that level and just shove them off into, like, the existential void until you need to call upon them.
Imagine being one of those, like, imagine if they were sentient. You know, there's a bit in Bo Burnham's Inside with the sock puppet. Imagine that, but if you're one of those characters who are forced to stand in T-pose, how terrifying would that be?
So, Brad and Carl, we've been talking about Fallout today.
Yes.
Just Carl, just come over to the microphone.
Come on. There we go. Right. And I just thought we'd spend a couple of minutes reminiscing about, I'd say but I know it's probably going to be Carl's favourite Skyrim moments. And just Bethesda games in general, because we're all a fan of them, and like we've all ended up playing through different versions of different games and just coming up with silly playthroughs and stuff, and they're all just like excellent playgrounds to mess about in.
Of course, yes.
Do you have anything you want to bring up, Carl?
Well, there's the thing that no one remembers that I'm responsible for, which is I was living with you, Brad.
Was it drunk Haley Wilkins?
That's the drunk Skyrim guy.
Two. I got really drunk and played Skyrim and just posted screenshots on Twitter of me taking literal photos of the screen with my crappy camera phone.
Yeah.
And I got really drunk and took a cabbage up a mountain in Skyrim.
You also pulled wings off butterfly.
Well, that's what the Haley Williams thing was.
Haley Williams, because I did it again, because I thought, well, it's got viral once, it'll go viral again. And then I tried to do it a third time with Batman Arkham City. And I kind of missed the boat on, because if I'd have invested in a camera, I probably could have been like a viral YouTube, like, Let's Player maybe. Mm-hmm. But I just did it like, old school, because I was an article writer at the time.
I remember like my Twitter timeline updating in real time, being like, Carl's going on some fucking Skyrim adventure tonight.
Yeah, but they ended up going like super viral. I did a couple of I did drunk rewatches of movies and things that went really viral as well that people don't know I'm responsible for. Yeah. It's like the screenshots float up without my attribution to me.
My experience with the drunk Skyrim guy was coming back from work and seeing Carl sat on the floor giggling as he plays with cabbages.
It's all about the cabbages.
People wonder if I'm like that in real life. I am. I really am like that in real life when I play video games.
One of my favourite memories was just breaking Fallout New Vegas. Because I started doing a thing where every single time, because it like had zero weight to it, anytime I would find a purple T-Rex toy, I would buy it or pick it up.
Yeah.
And I ended up with thousands of them. And I just went into my motel room.
Dropped them all.
And just, what happens if I drop them all? And my poor 360 just like had a meltdown. I just 4,000 dinosaurs filled up this room, and it was like a few minutes of just the game being like, I don't know if I can do this. They all dropped, and then it was okay, and then I moved, and I saw 2 seconds of these dinosaurs fly everywhere, and then my Xbox shut down.
Do you ever see that thing though where it was like Todd Howard said like, a lot of people complain that sometimes like Oblivion I think will take, or Fallout 3 or maybe Morrowind takes a while to load. What we were doing there is like we were secretly rebooting the entire Xbox in the background and just put a loading screen up and just disguised it as an overly long load screen. We just rebooted the Xbox and never told the player.
I recently started playing Legendary Skyrim Edition, but on like my Series S. Mm-hmm. And, that's got much better load times. And I was like, what is this Skyrim experience of like 3-second loading screens?
What I will say is, if anyone is not subscribed to our side channel, there is a stream up there from early Fiend days.
The very earliest, yes.
Yeah, of Carl playing Skyrim. But there's also going to be another one going up, which is the first ever I call it a Fiend stream. It was called The Return of the Drunk Skyrim Guy.
Oh, yeah. And I was more well known for that at the time than I was for Fiend, which sums up.
Yeah, and in that one, Carl gets lost in a cave for about 15 minutes. He gets so drunk that he murders Lydia and forgets. It was an adventure, shall we say, so that'll be going up at some point.
Go check that out on the side channel.
And then just like talk about gaming, like Lucas. Like, have I ever told you about that time in Grand Theft Auto 4? I was doing this yesterday on stream, but I need to talk about that time my mate was playing Grand Theft Auto 4.
Do you want to just walk in front and talk?
No. I thought fine, right, yeah.
Because people keep saying, "Oh, the person off camera's talking too much."
So like my mate was playing Grand Theft Auto 4, and he did the Higgins Air Tour. And he did, oh, this is great, like, this is cool, but how do you think I, like, quit out of this cutscene? I said, press Y, and Nico just threw himself out of the fucking helicopter. And just the idea of, like, imagine being in a helicopter, this Eastern European man in, a fucking, balaclava with a shotgun gets in, and it's, 5 minutes in, goes, alright, I'm done.
Oh. I love this more relaxed style where we just like, oh, Carl's got a long story, just go in front of the camera, it doesn't matter.
Oh, my story's long. Tell me why.
And if you want to hear, more stories, like, subscribe, comment, do all that business. I guess we've got to say this at some point now.
Do you remember early days when we used to do the like, comment, subscribe bits?
We never topped that one where I did it for about 35 seconds and it still wasn't as bad as a YouTube that got suggested to me the next day. So I think if we'd have done seriously, we'd be more successful.
That's true. Even if you do it jokingly, it does work, annoyingly.
Yeah.